Hi, it's Gary. Welcome to today's video. End of July. This month has flown by. I've really enjoyed all of these pens this month. And the rankings, they're so close. I mean, very easily, what I'm saying is number 6 could have been number 1. And to be honest, my mind, it changes the things every single day. They're all so nice. So join me down on the mat. Let's take a look at the pens I've used this month. And let's give them a score. So welcome down to the mat. So the 6 pens that I started the month with: the Visconti Breeze, the Leonardo Furore, Tibaldi Bononia, the Leonardo Momento Magico, the Visconti Van Gogh, and then down here at the bottom, the Leonardo Momento Zero Grande. Let me just reposition this so hopefully we can get them all into view. That's as good as I can get it, I think. So at position number 6 this month. This has been so hard to decide because I love all these pens. I've really enjoyed using them. So I've had to be very, very picky about the positions. Position number 6, I've decided it will go to the Leonardo Momento Magico. I love the colours of this pen. It's really nice. It's a piston filling pen. It's got a really nice ink window on there. As you can see, this one's empty. I've only got ink left in one of these pens, and that's going to run out today and be washed out. So I've used up a lot of ink this month. It's really nice. Got a nice Leonardo nib there. Why this comes in at number 6 is at the start of the month, or the first couple of weeks, I was getting a lot of issues with railroading. So I'd be writing away and it would just suddenly start to railroad. Then I'd also be finding that after I've written a couple of sentences, the ink, it would start to dry up, so it would go really, really pale. And what I'd have to do is pause for about 10 seconds, I'd give the pen a little shake, and then it would start up quite nice again. But again, after a couple of sentences, it would start to go really light and dry. Now what I did is partway through the month is I actually pulled the nib out and I put the nib and the feed through my sonic cleaner. When I put it back in, that seems to have solved those writing issues. So I'm not certain if it was just that the feed and the nib needed a really good clean, or if it was the act of pulling it out and repositioning the nib and feed when I put it back in. But it was still an issue with that start of the month. And that's, to be honest, the only reason I've marked it down. This is how close all of these pens have been. I just think this is a lovely pen. It's nice, it's comfortable, it's a good size. But a pen that doesn't write consistently isn't really what I'm after. So that's why I decided this one is going to come in at position number 6. Position number 5, I decided that will go to the Visconti Breeze. Now, as I say, I'm being very, very picky here. Compared to the other pens, this material, it's still nice, but it doesn't look as nice as the other pens. You know, it looks what it is. It's a tube that's just got some coloured material. It's nice in the hand. It can feel a little bit short, and even if I wanted to, I couldn't really post it. Yes, it goes on, but it just feels then very long, and it's really only posted onto that last about half a centimetre of the pen. So I don't know how good that will be. I mean, it seems all right. But as I say, I'm being very picky with my scores. I love this material. I really do. I love the nib. It really writes well. Not so enamoured with this magnetic cap here, but that's a very, very personal choice. Again, I had to come up with a score, and that's why for this month I've decided this comes in at number 5. The other thing I will add, not so much with the pen this time, with the ink. Robert Oster Fire and Ice. I don't know why, but I got myself convinced there should be a red sheen to it, and I just don't see that. I've seen no sheening at all. And again, that's a little bit disappointing. Position number 4. I say, all of these could have been so close, it's just been getting quite difficult to decide what to put where. Position number 4, I've given to the Tibaldi Bononia. It's another nice pen. It's a very attractive pen. I like this spaghetti resin. don't know if you can see that as I slowly turn it around, where we've got the different pieces of that spaghetti catching the light. Then it's all been rounded off. It's really nice and smooth. There's no catching. Why I'm knocking this down to position 4. It's not to do with the writing. The writing is gorgeous. It's not to do with the inks. As you can see, I've had 2 different inks in this. I started with Diamine Ruby Blues, which has got a really nice red sheen. You can hopefully see that coming through in the name. And then after a couple of weeks, I switched to Diamine Sargasso C. Again, really nice colour. The reason I'm knocking this down is purely the cap. The cap, when I'm taking it off, it feels as if the threads aren't cut properly. They're catching. You can feel it grating as I'm moving the cap over the body. Really unpleasant. I have tried some silicone grease because I thought, well, maybe a bit of grease might help. Made no difference. It's still catching all the time. Now, this is plastic on plastic, so that could explain it a little bit. But I also find when I'm unscrewing the body, we've got plastic onto metal, but even there, it feels as if the threads aren't quite cut right. Now, I did some Googling, and I've noticed a lot of other people are complaining about the same thing. So I don't think this is so much a QC defect as maybe a defect with the design or with the tools they're using to cut these threads. But that was really the only reason I marked it down, because it wasn't consistent with taking that cap on and off. So this comes in at number 4. As I say, I've had to be really, really picky this month with what goes where, because they're all so close. There's very little in them. They're all so enjoyable. Position number 3, I'm going to give to the Leonardo Furore. I love this white salt pattern. It's so nice to look at. It's to be honest, it's different. You know, it looks plain, but then when you see the way the light bounces off it, and you see it is, yeah, it's like looking at salt crystals, and I think it looks really nice. And I love this silver coloured trim that goes with it. I like this with the captured converter. Again, it's empty. You know, I've written out 2 different fills of this month. That's how much I've enjoyed using it. The captured converter will screw in and out. I need to clean it out a little bit more. You can see there's still a little bit of the orange ink left in there. Looks so nice. I like that converter because unlike some of the other pens where you've got no idea how much ink is in there, you can take a look straight in there, just whip the body off, look at the converter, you know how much ink you've got. Started the month with Diamine Assa Blue. Really nice colour, nice bright blue. That ran out the first time I used it. I knew at the start of the month there wasn't much in there anyway. So then I switched to Diamine Blaze Orange. Now, I think, like we saw a second ago, I don't think I'd completely got all the blue out of there because the ink, it looked a little bit more brown to me than the orange I was expecting. So I think there may have been a little bit of contamination in the converter mixing that blue and the orange to give it that little bit of a brown tinge. I love this 1.1 stub nib. I love the line that it gives me. One of the things I have found though is when I'm doing an upline, so where maybe if I do a W or an N or an M or sometimes with an L or an I, it feels like the nib is catching on the paper. It only seems to be where I'm going up the paper, not down. So that's again something I need to look at. Maybe I need to do a little bit of work with a little bit of micromesh to try and solve that. It's a very minor issue. As I said, with all these pens, it's little minor things that separate. But for this month, this comes in at position number 3. We've only got 2 pens left. Just try and move the paper. There we go. We can see which the pens are. We've got the Visconti Van Gogh, and we've got the Leonardo Momento Zero Grande. Position number 2. Very hard decision. Really had to think about this. What I've decided, position number 2, we'll go to the Visconti Van Gogh. This is such a pretty pen. Let's slowly turn this around so hopefully you can see how pretty it is. You know, we've got this gorgeous blues, we've got browns, we've got darker blues, some like greys and silver in there. The material, it's faceted. Let me see if I can get this to capture the light reflecting on the facets as I'm turning it around. Each facet looks to be maybe 3 or 4 millimeters wide, but it feels nice. It's got a real nice tactileness to it. It's another one like the first Visconti we looked at. It's got that magnetic cap. I'm not a fan of it. It's really tight. I mean, that's good. I just don't like the thought of having a magnet there. The nib. This is a fairly small nib. It's the same nib as what we find in the Visconti Breeze. We're paying more than double the price for it. So essentially what we're paying for is this pretty body. It's a cartridge converter. Again, it's empty. I usually syringe fill these, so I do get quite a nice fill with my cartridge converters. Why am I putting it at number 2? To me, it feels short. It's not. I mean, it looks quite nice, but it feels short when I'm using it. Yes, it can be posted. It posts really nicely. It doesn't feel overly heavy when it's posted. But again, and this is me, and chances are it's something where I worry about nothing. I just worry about scratching this gorgeous material. So for those reasons, I decided this comes in at position number 2. Position number 1. Well, we can easily work that out this month, can't we? It's only 1 pen left, and that's the Leonardo Momento Zero Grande. This is in the Dad Hawaii pattern. Bit like the Bononia, we've got this spaghetti type pattern. So we've got layers that are all patterned next to each other. Unlike the Visconti, this isn't faceted. This has been smoothed off, so it's nice and round. Just going to turn this around so you can look there at the pattern. I love the pattern on this. It's the Grande version. It's a long version. This is such a nice fit in my hand. I love this Leonardo section. My fingers, I hold at the bottom of my section anyway. They just fit in there lovely. The way it's got that flatness and then it comes out. My finger just sits there and it's so nice. I love the nib. I love this medium nib. I don't like many mediums at the moment. I'm generally more into broad nibs, but this is a really nice medium. It's another piston filler, and this is where I've got the one thing that lets this pen down. No ink window. I've got no idea how much ink is left in it. Why that actually makes a difference is, and it happened to me this month, I'm writing away, suddenly the pen stops writing. No ink left in it. Yes, if I'm at home, I could maybe refill it from the ink bottle if I wanted to, but if I'm out and about and this pen runs out of ink, then that's it. I can't use it anymore. Now, yes, fortunately, I always have my Galen leather case, so I've always got another 5 pens, but it's an annoyance, and it's the one thing that really I don't like about this pen. Everything else, absolutely glorious. It's such a pleasure to use. The ink in here, this Pure Pens Westgate Hotel, it's actually made by Diamine. I'm just going to try and get that there so we can see it's got a gorgeous red sheen as well. Really nice, really good flow. Such a nice combination. Really enjoyed using this. So this comes in at number 1. The differences between position 1 and position 6, they are very, very minor, and it would be easy for them to have swapped places. You know, chances are if I hadn't have had the issues at the start of the month with the Magico, it could have come in at position number 1. They're all gorgeous pens. Just going to get rid of the paper, then I'll fetch the pens in for one final look. So here we've got the 6 pens from July of 2022. Position number 6, the Leonardo Momento Magico. Number 5, the Visconti Breeze. Number 4, the Tibaldi Bononia. Number 3, the Leonardo Furore. Number 2, the Visconti Van Gogh. And the winner for the month, the Leonardo Momento Zero Grande. I hope you've enjoyed today's video. What are your thoughts on my rankings? What are your thoughts on these pens? Would you put them in a different order? Please drop a comment down below. Let's kickstart the conversation. Please hit the thumbs up button every time you like, Every time you comment just helps with the YouTube algorithm. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel so that you can get new videos as I release them. I'll talk to you again soon.